Hi, everybody. It's Ariel Hubbard and Vicki Draper. Hi, everybody. It's Ariel Hubbard and Vicki Draper. We are giving another learning experience today. Vicki, you are the host of a wonderful podcast. Tell everybody the name of your podcast, please, because I'd love everybody to hear that. Because if they're not familiar
Animal Messages.
yes,
so your animals want you to know.
Right. And this is one of the things that, for those of you who don't know about Vicki's podcast, she does that frequently. So definitely go in and check it out, because it's going to be a great experience, for you to learn about her incredible work. So Vicki Draper has been doing animal healing and energy healing and massage actually for many years. And she has some really interesting stories to tell. We come here on Clubhouse once a month, usually the first Thursday of the month at 10 o'clock. And she does incredible work with animals. And I'm Ariel Hubbard, and I'm your co-host. And I've been doing energy healing for 32 years and massage for almost 27. And we both work with people. So Vicki, what's our theme today?
Holiday stress, calming the holiday stress.
Oh my gosh.
So helping you prepare for the best holidays you've had.
Completely. And Vicki, before the show today, we were talking about how you were saying that a feedback loop is created between animals and people when they're stressed. Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Oh, happy to, because this is a big topic and it's so important to get the word out. Because you just say the word holidays and a lot of people, including myself, just get stressed automatically just saying the word. And because just heightened energies, lots to do's and family gatherings, and it's just, it can be good, but it's also very stressful and anxiety producing. And so animals pick up on our stress. So the more we're stressed, the more they're stressed, and then they're stressed, which stresses us as animal guardians. And we just start this loop. We're stressed, they get stressed, and they're stressed. So we're stressed because they're stressed. And it just keeps adding and adding and adding. So for those of you that have an already anxious animal before the holidays, it just gets
right. So how do you,
it gets bigger and gets more exasperated.
Right. It sounds like not a good time, because I know when I'm going to somebody's house and their dog is barking constantly, it gives me a total headache. For me personally, I'm guessing it does for them too. So how do you break that cycle? Like, what do you do to help them break that cycle?
Well, the first thing I tell the person is to start with the person and to stop and take a big, deep breath in, hold it, and let it out. To stop the spin.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is, I think you had told me you also have a happy holiday essence set. So people can take these wonderful sprays that you have, right?
Yeah.
And what do they do with them?
Okay. So I have an essence collection that's exclusive. My formulations have been doing this since 2003. And they really give a healing support, and they're unscented, and you can travel with them easily. So I have a happy holiday set just for this reason. And it comes with 3 1-ounce essences. The first one is Serene, which provides a calming effect. So if you need support in calming, this puts calming in the atmosphere, and you and your animals can partake with it. Vibrate with it. It's helping support you. And then family was created for family gatherings.
Love it.
Because I had a friend going to visit her family in Australia for 2 months. She goes, I've got to have support. and now it's one of the best sellers because it works with animals, it works with people, and it's powerful. So what it does is it promotes the love of a family. It promotes the loving connections, and all the angst and everything, it just repels. So it can help make being in the family a more loving experience. It breaks patterns, because if you say, oh, always, so my mom's going to get on to me for this. Well, it doesn't have to be, because with family, things shift. I've heard numerous stories over the years. And then boundaries, because we always want to set our personal boundaries. And that's a lot of times what causes the stress, is because boundaries get violated. And so the Happy Holidays set serene family and boundaries to help you and your animals have good holidays.
I love it. And so usually we talk about that stuff at the end, but I asked at the beginning because here's the image I have. You know, you get to somebody's house, the animals are barking, or if you have dogs, let's just say, and there are all these people, there's all this activity. We've been, you know, in pandemic shutdown. We're not used to being around people. Then we're around people. Then there's the stress of, you know, has so-and-so been vaccinated and so-and-so hasn't. And then there's like that. So then you're coming in and you need something quick that's going to shift the energy quickly. Now I have my tools too, but I love this because they can take a deep breath. They can do the sprays, right? And then that quickly shifts the energy frequency. And then everybody can just calm down and enjoy each other. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's unscented. You can spray it and it's going into the environment. And so, no one has to know you're doing it.
Which is, so it's on the DL. It's energy management on the DL, baby. You just spray the room before people get there. I love it.
Exactly.
Like you said, we want to prep to have a great holiday season, right?
Yeah.
So I love it. That's so awesome. What a great tool. It's so terrific.
And I offer it as a 3-set special, where it's $60 when normally it's $66. So you can easily get that on healingyouranimal.com.
Beautiful.
Products tab, select products for people, and then select view packages to get
I love it.
savings.
That's fantastic. So it sounds like it'd be a good Christmas gift to give to people, or holiday gift, I should say.
Yes.
I love it. Awesome. Well, I noticed that people, I mean, one of the things that I do when I'm working with people during the holiday season is I have different major themes that people come to see me for, but one of them is feeling stuck. And during the holidays, this shows up a lot, right? So people, you know, the holidays show up and then we look at everything that's missing, because a lot of us who don't have the perfect life, like if you're single during the holidays, it's not usually a good experience. Either you're lonely, or your parents are on you about finding a relationship, or somebody's judging you for being single, right? Or you don't have anybody to go through this experience with. And, in some parts of the country, people just focus on their own families and they don't focus on anybody else. So that single person's like going by themselves going, now what do I do? Right. And then, you haven't achieved your goals for the year. Maybe you're looking at the year going, wow, I didn't achieve my goals. And then you mentioned something. What did you say to me? What was the other thing?
Wait, then, like with COVID, the 10 extra pounds or whatever, then you're going to go see the people.
Right. And oh my God, like you're either bummed because you don't have anybody to see, or you're bummed because you're going to see people. Right. And they have all their judgments and expectations. I mean, it's really, or the family patterns that you mentioned, right, that come up. Yeah. And, people coaching you when you don't ask to be coached, or people giving you their well-meant suggestions and advice that, just reinforce that you're not where you want to be. Now, this is a lot of us deal with this. That's why I bring it up. And so one of the things I do is I do sessions for people, and I can do them long distance as well as in person, right? So I can do a session where I help balance out the energetic frequencies of those negative emotions. I can help clear the chakras, clear the auric field, rebalance and recalibrate the meridians, find out what's going on with that person and why is it such a big deal anyway? Like, why do we care what people think? And go to the underlying reasons, the patterns behind that stuff. Why do people care? I mean, it's okay that, Auntie Margie has her opinion about like that 10 extra pounds that you have, right? That's fine when she has 80 extra pounds, right? And we know it's secretly projection of her own issue. Right? So what I like to do is I also talk people through. Sometimes I'll do hypnotherapy for them to help them get a mindset reset about just how they're approaching or how they're experiencing that, so that they can go in, because it's a lot more freeing if people go into the holidays with a feeling of self-love and self-respect, right? And
Absolutely.
then, people can have their opinions and they're sort of floating around us, but we don't have to absorb or receive that energy into our energy system. We don't have to align with other people's opinions. And that expression, other people's opinions of me are none of my business. I love that.
I do too. I do too.
It's so freeing,
And
right?
so that's why what you do with the balancing of the energy systems, if people aren't aware, it's helping you change at a cellular level. You're an energy system, and you're walking in empowered and confident, and that's how people are going to react to you. That's how the things change. That's how situations change. And so that's why it's so powerful to go in strong, like you said, in fully yourself, empowered, and to have a different experience.
I mean, have you had experiences when you shifted yourself energetically, and sorry about that. And when you shifted energetically, you realized that like your family members were responding to you differently?
Oh,
Sounds like you're speaking from experience.
absolutely. But
Yeah.
yes, because I'm operating at a different level.
Right.
Even in my environment, everyone in my environment is shifting because they're responding to the new energy.
Right. As the universe says, as above, so below, and as within, so without. So when you shift on the inside, what you experience on the outside is different. I've experienced the same thing. And then there's some people in your family that may be really stuck in their own patterns. So their own perception of you could be 30 years old. So they could react to you from the way they did when they were, it was 30 years ago, but that doesn't mean you have to react to them like it was 30 years ago. And so that makes a huge difference, I think, for people. It's very freeing to not have to buy in to people's stories, perceptions, or misunderstandings of us. I find it very freeing.
It is, because I experienced that, been doing a lot of work on myself, and yes, so people that you haven't seen in a while, they still treat you, like you said, as if 30 years ago or whatever, and that's how they knew you. Well, you're not the same. And so you have just being aware of that, so you don't get pulled back into that. This is who I am now. And then what's interesting is they don't know how to react. They don't know how to respond because something has changed.
No, and so they're used to, having their reaction. I have an example of that. So, I'm going through a really big growth period right now in my business, and I'm doing a lot of cool additional things. I'm starting my own podcast. You have yours. I'm starting one, and I'm getting a book published. I'm doing all these different things, right? I'm starting membership sites so people can experience my work and get more consistent education. And I was just telling my mom some of this, and she goes, "Oh, you're like your dad." I go, "No, I've been doing this for 27 years. I've been teaching my dad to do this stuff." And it's just, I'm like, "Oh, Mom, no, I've been teaching my dad entrepreneurship." Funny. My parents aren't married, so she doesn't really know where my dad's at, and she doesn't really know where I'm at. And so she had a perception of something that was from, 30 years ago. And I'm laughing, going, no, I've been showing him stuff. I'm teaching him stuff. And my dad's like, "I can't believe that. What is this content creation stuff? And you can actually make money from this. And how do you do that?" And I'm like, "Dad, it's real. It's a real thing. It's not a scam." "No, it's not a scam, Dad. It's a movement." It's funny.
Yeah.
It's funny. Anyway, so the thing is, it's freeing for us to shift our frequencies. And so people can shift their frequencies by working with you. And you work with the animal guardian and the animal itself. And when we were talking earlier, you told me something that was a revelation, because we're talking about the holidays and prepping for the holidays. And you had mentioned that winter weather brings out aches and pains in animals. And I'm like, and you say it like it's so obvious, Ariel. And I'm like, no, it's not obvious. I'm like, I didn't know animals had that happen. Duh. So could you tell us more about that? Because I'm probably not the only one who doesn't know this.
Absolutely. The colder weather, our muscles they're not as warm and work as optimally until they're warmed up. And so you may notice your animal being a little bit stiffer getting up and having a little bit more trouble moving. And that can be easily supported with a session and helping, just like for us, we get support to help us with the pain relief. It's the same for the animals. And then the extra stress is that when you see your animal not moving as easily, you get concerned, you get worried. So then that adds more stress as well. And so
how does that add stress? Because for those of us who are just tuning in, how does that add stress to the animal?
Well, it adds stress to the animal because you're stressed and worried about your animal not being his or her best.
Right.
If he's slowing down, you may be thinking, oh, maybe he's getting time because he's slowing down. And none of that may be true. I mean, maybe, yes, he's aging and he doesn't have to move so slow, because that's where.
So the animal guardian projects, they have stress in their energy field and their thought forms. And then the animal picks up on that.
Well, right. So the animal can, so what I'm trying to say, is animals can move better than you think they are. Just because they're moving slow now doesn't mean it has to be that way. And the person gets stressed about it, though, not knowing this. And then the more stressed they are, then the animal gets stressed. And then the person gets stressed because the animal is stressed. And it just keeps building.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So what do you do for animal aches and pains? How do you treat that? How do you help people with that?
Well, I do, I'm licensed in massage and certified in acupressure and cranial sacral therapy and Reiki. And so I do work locally and I do virtual distance sessions. So yes, there is a thing as virtual massage.
That's cool.
So whether you're local or not, your animal can get support even with their achy muscles.
How do you do that? Do you guide the animal guardian through the process?
Nope, I do it.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because the muscles are energy.
Yes.
I'm connecting as if we are in person, and energy doesn't know time or space. So I can do massage with an animal virtually.
Wow.
You know, that's a new concept for people.
Right.
Been doing this for years, and it works because clients that are not local, they're national and international, don't have the in-person option. And we get good physical results just the same as if they were seeing me in person. Like at the first of the pandemic, when, I wasn't, the vet clinic was closed down for my services where I go in and work in person. I had a 1-year-old Labradoodle that had a big hump in its back because the muscles had gotten tight. Mm-hmm. So we did a session, and by the end, it was flat. The muscles had relaxed.
Wow.
Good. And so.
That's an awesome result.
Yeah. And it's not something logical because we're so used to you have to touch to do that.
Right.
And I have evidence that that's not true. You can get good results. Even
that's amazing. You've done this with thousands of animals, I'm guessing, over the years.
Yes, I've been doing this for over 20 years.
Amazing.
And distance has always been a part of my practice.
Right. So wow. Okay. And so I'm just thinking about this. So for your people who are listening and they're not with you in person, they can still get your service.
Absolutely. And it can still help support aging animals with tight muscles. It can,
Wow. That's so cool.
Yes. And now I know that's what it's so rewarding because the animals just feel so much better.
Yep.
Afterwards.
100%.
Yeah. And I just had a client this week that's in Hawaii that had already been to the vet and gotten what the vet can do. And so that's what's important is this doesn't replace, just like working with people, our energy work, it doesn't replace going to the medical doctor or the veterinarian. It picks up where they leave off. There's a whole other layer, a whole big that needs support. So this Boston Terrier was just in a lot of physical discomfort, chest congested, liver enzymes really high, just not doing good. By the end, I could feel where the clearing, things had happened. He was a lot stronger. And then he started licking his guardian on the face. And she goes, he hasn't done that in months because he's hurting. And so he, and this is distant. They're in Hawaii, I'm here. And
that's really cool. I love it. So I'm working with physical pain too, because, when people, it's amazing how much the muscles tighten up, not just from the cold from winter, but like people, they're trying to buy presents. They want to have enough money to either go on a trip or to buy gifts, or they have too many events to attend, or, whatever's happening in their life, and their tissue tightens up, and it can become so tight, can become ischemic. And when it becomes ischemic, excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. I apologize. Excuse me for having a human body function. It happens. And when you get ischemia, excuse me, that's so funny. Well, you know how it is. In France, they say taste away for the first sneeze, to your wishes, and then taste amour to your loves for the second wish. I mean, the second sneeze, I should say. That's funny. So anyway, what happens is the tissue gets so tight, it cuts off blood and nervous circulation. And then when that happens, you can get cell death over long periods of time. So you definitely want to get those muscles loosened up. And so when people talk to me about like, I'm hurting, they don't even realize how badly they hurt. Like they come in complaining about one side and the other side's always worse, because that side's probably compensating. Like if they're limping on one side, the other side will be more painful, more tight, and their brain blocks it out. Their reticular activating system blocks it out. And then when I massage it, they go, oh my gosh, I can totally feel that. So, and you told me you have animals who limp. They come in limping sometimes, like with your, right?
Yeah.
And you can help them with that too, right?
Absolutely.
That's amazing.
Because I've had, a client that, well, one story of the many over the years, there's many stories. Gracie, little Wheaton Terrier, was limping front right paw, and they had already been to the vet, had it x-rayed, nothing. And when they were wanting to go to the back end, because the vet didn't know what was going on, they couldn't find anything. That's when she said, no, we're not going to x-ray the back end. I'm going to do something else. And she found me, and there was a little bitty, teeny tiny muscle in the paw that needed to be released.
Wow.
And once we released that, she was walking normally.
That's amazing. Which one was it? Was it extensor indicis or flexor indicis? I'm just curious. Do you know which one it was?
No.
I'm sorry. That's okay. So for human people, it's the mouse muscles, the one I talked about. Extensor indicis or indicis. That's this muscle right here. And it gets really, really tight. And the flexor is through here.
Okay.
And so, I mean, I'm guessing with the paws, you got your extensor retinaculum, retinaculum, flexor retinaculum. The muscle names are the same for mammals.
And I was mistaken with the paw. It's been a little bit, it was the wrist.
It was the wrist. So it was on the backside. So it could have been extensor carpi radialis or extensor carpi ulnaris. What's fascinating is the muscle names are the same for the animals as they are for human beings, because we're all mammals. So interesting, right? So
it is.
Right. So, I mean, but in an animal, like, and they got that pressure on there. I mean, I could totally see why just releasing that one thing would create a major shift for them. So that's really cool.
Yes. And so that's where, yes. And if they don't get if there's something's happening in the paw or the wrist and they don't get it taken care of, it goes all the way up to the shoulder, then it goes into the mid back, then if you want it taken care of, because if they get the buildup and compensating like we do if we don't take care of it.
Yes, it's amazing. Wow. Well, we're going to do another holiday stress addressing episode December 4th, I think. No, the 3rd, my bad. The 3rd of December at 10 o'clock. So people want more information, they can learn about that. But before that, how can people reach us? How can they reach you?
Okay. The best way is to go to my website, which is healingyouranimal.com, and that's HealingYourAnimal.com. And from there, you can select the contact us. You can sign up for a gift assessment. I do a complimentary 15 to 20 minute assessment with you over phone or Zoom, and hear your needs and see what the best support is. And we can go further if what I have, if it works for what.
And then they can also buy products there too. They can buy products, right? On the products tab.
That's where you can go to the products tab to get products. And then that's where you can go to the news tab and hear all of Ariel's and my past recordings and information. Yes, we have a lot of good stories, a lot of good information and healing techniques in there too. So my website is the best way to get all, and you can sign up for my newsletter there to get free tips and know when I'm teaching classes and
that's awesome.
Happening.
Cool.
And so for you,
so people can go to arielhubbard.com. I have everything I do up on there. So you'll see information about the treatments I give. You'll see information about classes I teach. You can click to text me. You can watch my blogs or read my blogs. I have some really cool videos up on there. I have one video that shows giving Reiki, and it shows it in the auric field and how these beams of light are coming out of my hands and going into the field. So you can actually see the energy, which is amazing. Like, it's very hard to find a video that shows that. And I have a lot of other blogs on there, a lot of other different types of information. And yeah, that's a good way to just reach me if you have questions or you want to read about things I do, or you want to read the blogs. Yeah, well, thank you so much for coming.
What I'd like to share for you, Ariel, is Ariel's name is spelled Ariel.
Thank you.
Hubbard.com.
Yes.
HUBBARD.com.
Thank you. It's not like the font. I appreciate it. Ariel like Little Mermaid, Hubbard like Old Mother Hubbard. I love it. Great. Well, we both have other people that we're going to go help in a few minutes. So we're going to get going, right? But thank you, everybody, for coming and joining us. And we hope you have an amazing day. And we appreciate you, and come back and see us next month. It'll be great.
All right. We'll be
Thank
here
you.
with more tips and tools and ready to share.
Exactly. Have a great holiday season, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.